The suburban charm of Willowfield was undeniable. Neatly trimmed lawns, cheerful mailboxes, and a serenity that wrapped itself around the new family settling in. Anna and Jack Sullivan had just moved into their modest, sunlit home, eager to start their journey as parents. Their daughter, Lily, was just 6 weeks old, her soft coos and tiny hands already their world's focus. Alongside them was Max, a 3-year-old pit bull with a brindle coat that gleamed in the sunlight and eyes that seemed to hold endless stories. Jack had rescued Max from a shelter years before meeting Anna. At the time, Jack was grappling with loneliness, and Max, a shy but affectionate pup, had been his solace. For Jack, Max was more than a pet. He was a lifeline. Anna, though fond of animals, had grown up hearing fearful whispers about pit bulls, tales of unpredictability that made her uneasy. Now, with Lily in their lives, Anna's unease had evolved into anxiety. She noticed Max's attentiveness toward Lily, how he'd linger by her nursery door, ears perked, body tense as if guarding something precious. Jack dismissed her concerns. "Max is just curious," he'd say, but Anna couldn't shake the thought. What if the instincts bred into Max's kind posed a risk? One evening, as Anna rocked Lily to sleep, she noticed faint scratches on the nursery door. "Jack," she called, her voice tight with worry. "Did you see these marks? I think Max is scratching at the door." Jack frowned but shook his head. "It's not him. Max hasn't been destructive since I've had him." Anna wasn't convinced. Over the next few days, the scratches multiplied, and soft whimpers from the baby monitor made her heart race. "It's probably nothing," Jack assured her, but Anna suggested installing a camera in Lily's room. "Just for peace of mind," she said, though her intent was clear. She needed to watch Max. As the camera blinked to life one night, Anna and Jack huddled together to review the footage. On the screen, Max approached Lily's crib, his posture gentle, his movements careful. "What is he doing?" Anna whispered, her voice laced with fear. Jack said nothing, his eyes fixed on the screen. Max rested his paws on the crib's edge, peering inside. His tail wagged softly, but Anna's anxiety surged. "He's too close," she said, her voice trembling. "Jack, we can't take chances." The argument that followed was intense. Jack defended Max's loyalty. Anna held firm, her fear for Lily's safety overriding all else. They decided Max needed to leave, unaware that their loyal companion was trying to tell them something they couldn't yet understand. What they didn't know was that the footage they'd just seen held a secret that would change everything. The decision to rehome Max weighed heavily on Jack. The once warm and light-hearted air of the Sullivan household now carried an undercurrent of tension. Jack often found himself retreating to the living room, memories of his years with Max playing like an old film in his mind. He remembered the scrawny, trembling pup he'd rescued, the nights Max sat silently beside him as he navigated grief and uncertainty. For Jack, Max wasn't just a dog. He was family. But Anna's fears were unwavering. "It's not about you or Max, Jack. It's about Lily. I can't take any risks," she said one night, cradling their daughter in her arms. Jack wanted to argue, but her fear was palpable, her maternal instincts like a fortress he couldn't breach. Max, once playful and carefree, seemed to sense the shift. He followed Anna through the house, his eyes alert, his demeanor subdued. Anna saw every movement as confirmation of her concerns. To Jack, Max's behavior was protective. To Anna, it was unsettling. One afternoon, as Lily lay on her playmat, Max padded over and sat nearby, his ears twitching at every sound. Anna stiffened. "Max, no," she said sharply, scooping Lily into her arms. Max backed away, his head low, his tail tucked in confusion. Jack, watching from across the room, sighed heavily. "He's not doing anything wrong, Anna. He's just being Max." "That's the problem," Anna snapped. "I don't trust him, Jack. I can't." The arguments became more frequent, their voices rising in the quiet house. Max often retreated to his spot by Lily's nursery door, lying silently as though standing guard. Anna hated the tension but felt justified. Her job was to protect Lily, even if it meant breaking Jack's heart. One evening, Jack began packing Max's belongings, his leash, his favorite toys, his movements slow and heavy. Max approached, nuzzling Jack's hand. "You don't understand, buddy," Jack murmured, his voice breaking. "I'm trying to do what's best for everyone." In the doorway, Anna watched, her resolve faltering. She didn't want this division in her family, but every time she saw Max near Lily, the stories she'd grown up hearing drowned out reason. As Max settled by the nursery door that night, his eyes heavy with longing, neither Anna nor Jack realized they were standing at the precipice of a revelation that would change everything. The unease in the Sullivan household had become an unspoken constant. Max's behavior grew more peculiar with each passing day. He lingered near Lily's nursery, his ears pricking at the faintest sounds, his eyes scanning the room as if searching for an invisible threat. For Anna, it was proof that he couldn't be trusted. For Jack, it was a heartbreaking display of loyalty. Then came a cold, restless night. Lily had been fussing all evening, her tiny face flushed with what Anna assumed was exhaustion. After finally soothing her to sleep, Anna left the nursery door slightly ajar and collapsed into bed beside Jack. Max lay at the doorway, his head resting on his paws, his body taut with a quiet tension. Sometime after midnight, a sharp bark cut through the silence. Anna jolted awake, her heart pounding. "What now?" she muttered, hurrying to the nursery. She found Max standing on his hind legs, his paws pressed against the crib. Lily was crying, her breath shallow and rapid. "Max, get down!" Anna yelled, her voice trembling. She scooped Lily into her arms, her own panic rising. Max didn't back away but instead barked again, this time at the corner of the room. His body was rigid, his gaze locked on something unseen. "What's wrong?" Jack appeared in the doorway, rubbing his eyes. "It's Max. He's acting crazy," Anna cried, clutching Lily tightly. "This is what I was afraid of." But Jack wasn't looking at Anna. He was staring at Max, whose growling was low and guttural, his focus unshifting. Jack stepped closer and placed a hand on Max's back. The dog's body was trembling, not with aggression, but with urgency. "Anna, wait," Jack said, his voice steady but firm. "He's trying to tell us something." Anna hesitated, her fear battling with an unfamiliar sense of doubt. Jack knelt by Max and glanced at Lily, whose tiny breath sounded labored. "We need to check her," he said. Reluctantly, Anna agreed. As they examined Lily more closely, her pale complexion and shallow breaths sent alarm bells ringing. Without hesitation, they rushed to the hospital, unaware that Max's instincts had just saved their daughter from a worsening respiratory infection. And for Anna, doubt began to crack through the walls of fear. What if Max wasn't the danger she thought he was? What if he had been trying to protect Lily all along? The sterile glow of the hospital's fluorescent lights reflected the severity of the moment. Anna cradled Lily, her heart racing as doctors examined her daughter. The diagnosis came quickly: a respiratory infection that had progressed dangerously. The pediatrician assured them they had arrived just in time. "Had you waited even an hour longer," he said, "this could have been critical." As relief flooded through her, Anna glanced at Jack, who was pacing the waiting room. But her mind wasn't on him or even the doctors. It was on Max. Her loyal dog's frantic barking, his trembling urgency. The realization was dawning on her, heavy and undeniable. Max hadn't been the threat. He had been the warning. When they returned home that evening, the house was still. Lily was asleep in Anna's arms, her breathing steady, her fever reduced. Max sat at the entrance, his eyes wide and attentive, his tail thumping softly against the floor when he saw them. For the first time in weeks, Anna didn't flinch. She stepped closer to Max, lowering herself to his level. "I'm sorry, Max," she murmured, her voice breaking. Tears streamed down her face as she stroked his head. "I've been so wrong about you." Jack watched from the doorway, his heart swelling with emotion. He had fought for Max, but this moment, Anna finally acknowledging the dog's unwavering loyalty meant more than any argument he could have made. The next day, Jack suggested they review the footage from the nursery camera. Anna, still grappling with guilt, hesitated, but agreed. As the video played, it showed Max entering the nursery the previous night. His movements were deliberate as he sniffed the air and nudged Lily gently with his nose. When she didn't stir, he barked sharply, pacing the room and focusing on the corner near her crib. "Do you see it?" Jack asked quietly. Anna nodded, her hands trembling. "He knew," she whispered, her voice cracking. "He knew something was wrong before we did." The footage was undeniable. Max's instincts, far from being dangerous, had been an extraordinary act of protection. Anna's fear began to crumble, replaced by overwhelming gratitude. For the first time, she saw Max not as a potential threat, but as a guardian, loyal, selfless, and fiercely devoted to their family. That night, as Max lay beside Lily's crib, Anna didn't shoo him away. Instead, she knelt beside him, placing a hand on his back. "Thank you," she whispered. Max's tail wagged gently in response, his place in their family finally, unmistakably, earned. The days following Lily's hospital visit marked a quiet shift in the Sullivan household. Anna, once guarded and skeptical, found herself observing Max with fresh eyes. His every movement, every tilt of his head, seemed filled with purpose. She had spent weeks seeing him as a potential threat, but now she saw what Jack had always known. Max's heart beat for their family. One afternoon, while Lily napped, Anna sat on the living room floor sorting through Max's belongings. His favorite toy, a battered rubber ball, rolled toward her. Max approached slowly, his ears slightly lowered, as if unsure of her reaction. Tentatively, Anna held out the ball. "Here, boy," she said softly. Max's tail thumped, and he took the ball gently from her hand, his eyes brightening for the first time in days. Jack entered the room, pausing at the sight of Anna and Max. A smile broke across his face. "Looks like you two are making peace," he said. Anna nodded, her expression somber. "I owe him so much, Jack. I was so blinded by fear, I couldn't see what was right in front of me." Her voice wavered. "I can't undo how I treated him, but I can make it right." Determined to rebuild trust, Anna began working with a professional dog trainer to better understand Max's behavior. Through sessions filled with patience and learning, Anna saw firsthand how Max's instincts and loyalty had always been his greatest strengths. She began to appreciate the moments she once misinterpreted. His constant presence near Lily's crib, his alertness to every sound, and even his unsettling gaze. All signs of a protector, not a predator. One evening, as Anna rocked Lily to sleep, she caught Max watching from the doorway. Instead of feeling uneasy, she felt comforted. "He's watching over her," she whispered to herself. Anna's transformation didn't go unnoticed. Jack felt a weight lifting from their relationship as the tension that had divided them softened into shared gratitude. They even decided to share their story online, hoping to challenge misconceptions about dogs like Max. Photos of Max and Lily soon filled the walls of their home. In one, Lily sat on a blanket in the yard, giggling as Max lay beside her, his head resting protectively near her tiny legs. For the first time in weeks, the Sullivans felt whole. Max wasn't just their dog. He was their guardian, their healer, and an irreplaceable part of their family. As Lily grew stronger and her laughter filled the Sullivan household once more, the bond between her and Max deepened. The once hesitant Anna now found herself marveling at their connection. Max was never far from Lily, whether she was playing on her mat or sitting in her high chair. His presence was constant, steadfast, and gentle. One sunny afternoon, Anna sat on the porch watching Lily crawl in the grass. Max was beside her, his watchful eyes scanning the yard. Anna smiled as Lily reached out, her tiny hands brushing Max's fur. Max turned his head, giving Lily a tender nuzzle, his tail wagging softly. "Do you think he knows what he's done for us?" Anna asked Jack, who was sitting nearby. Jack glanced at Max and then at Anna, his face thoughtful. I think he knows, in his own way. Dogs like Max, they just give everything they have to their family. No conditions, no hesitations. Anna nodded, her throat tightening with emotion. I almost took that away. I let fear control me, Jack. I'll never forgive myself for doubting him. Jack placed a hand on hers. You're making it right now. That's what matters. Determined to honor Max's devotion, Anna became an advocate for educating others about dog behavior and breaking harmful stereotypes about breeds like pit bulls. She started volunteering at the local animal shelter, speaking to families considering adoption. It's not about the breed, she would say passionately. It's about the heart. Dogs are individuals, just like us. Her efforts grew into a larger project. Anna and Jack began working with the shelter to create programs that educated the community on understanding dog instincts and training. Their story about Max and Lily became a cornerstone of these efforts. They shared how Max's instincts had saved their daughter's life and how they had nearly lost him due to fear and misunderstanding. One day, Anna posted a photo of Max and Lily on social media, their bond evident in the way Lily leaned against him, her tiny hands gripping his fur. Max taught us more about love, loyalty, and trust than we ever imagined, Anna wrote in the caption. He wasn't just protecting Lily, he was protecting our family, even when we couldn't see it. The post went viral, sparking conversations about the importance of seeing dogs for who they truly are. Messages flooded in from families who had similar experiences or were inspired to reconsider their views on pit bulls and other misunderstood breeds. As the sun set over the Sullivan home one quiet evening, Anna knelt beside Max, her hand gently scratching behind his ears. "You've changed us, Max," she whispered. "You saved her, and in doing so you saved all of us." Max thumped his tail, leaning into her touch. In his eyes, there was no judgment, no lingering resentment, only the unconditional love he had always offered. Months passed, and the Sullivan household flourished with warmth and joy. Lily, now a curious and vibrant toddler, was inseparable from Max. She toddled after him wherever he went, her laughter echoing through the house. Max, ever the guardian, stayed close, his protective instincts as sharp as ever, but now fully embraced by Anna. One morning, as Lily played in the living room, Anna sat on the floor with her, helping her stack colorful blocks. Max lay nearby, his eyes moving between Anna and Lily. Jack entered the room with a steaming mug of coffee and smiled at the scene before him. "This feels right," he said softly, sitting down beside Anna. Anna nodded, her gaze drifting to Max. "I didn't think I could feel this way," she admitted. "But now I can't imagine our lives without him." Jack placed a hand on her shoulder. "You've come a long way, Anna. We all have." That evening, as they prepared for bed, Anna suggested watching some of the early footage from the nursery camera again. "I need to remind myself," she said, "of how wrong I was and how incredible Max has always been." They sat together on the couch, laptop perched on Jack's lap, as the video played. It showed Max entering the nursery on one of those tense nights, his movements deliberate and gentle. He sniffed the air, nudged Lily's crib, and then barked toward the corner of the room where nothing visible stood. Anna leaned her head against Jack's shoulder. "He always knew, didn't he?" she whispered. Jack kissed the top of her head. "He did." The Sullivans decided to honor Max in a way that would forever mark his role in their family. They commissioned a local artist to create a painting of Max and Lily capturing their unbreakable bond. The artwork, vibrant and full of life, became the centerpiece of their living room, a daily reminder of the lessons Max had taught them. As time went on, Anna and Jack continued to share their story, speaking at community events and advocating for shelter dogs. Their efforts inspired dozens of families to adopt dogs like Max, dogs with misunderstood reputations, but hearts as big as the world. One quiet evening, the family sat together on the porch. Lily was curled up on Max's back, her small fingers gripping his fur as she dozed off. Anna leaned against Jack, her heart full. "I think we're finally where we're meant to be," she said. Jack nodded, his eyes on Max and Lily. "Yeah, this is what family feels like." As the stars lit up the night sky, Max lifted his head, his ears twitching at the distant sounds of the world beyond. But then he settled, his tail wagging softly as he closed his eyes. He was home. He was loved. And he was exactly where he was meant to be. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our latest videos. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Thank you all for taking the time to watch, and see you in the next video.